I feel a great disturbance in the force, as if a million Jerome fans just cried out with terror and then was suddenly silenced. But no, hello everybody, welcome to my Gotham episode 18 review slash Q&A slash breakdown, whatever you want to call it, because I break it down, I talk about it, then answer some of your questions. Now, this episode, in my opinion, people, was very, very good. And yes, I mean every last drop of it. But before I dive into this breakdown, guys, if you do enjoy this video, then go ahead and leave a like on it. I would really appreciate that. It only takes 2 seconds of your time to hit that like button, and apart from that, subscribe to this channel if you're new for more Gotham videos just like this and other nerdy comic booky show stuff out there. Now, there is so much to talk about in this episode, but not at the same time. I feel like I've spoke so much about the footage that happened in this episode, from the White Band trailer, the promos included, and just everything else. So what I'm talking about is, you know, the rock concert stuff, everything I feel like I kind of talked about before, so I'll lightly brush over that, but mainly, obviously, what I want to talk about is like the Barbara stuff, obviously the Jerome grand finale stuff, and then Jeremiah's transformation into the Joker. Now, guys, I absolutely adore the fact that they've brought in the laughing gas into the end of this season. That intro to the beginning of this episode, where we had the commissioner, the mayor, and a couple of other important dudes, and then they kidnapped them all basically for the purpose of Jerome holding them hostage, which we found out later in the episode. And obviously he wanted Jeremiah and Bruce to join them. But that intro scene where they got them all in the car, and you know, we've seen this all in the promos before, and we saw that lady just absolutely going crazy with the laughing gas. It just reminds me, I can see the comic stills in my head of I can't remember what comic book I'm thinking of, but there's probably been a dozen where the Joker Venom's been used on them, and they just go out. It is such a brutal Joker thing, and it really is a dream come true to a fan like myself, and other fans out there who get to see the Joker Venom on live action TV. It's absolutely brilliant. But I'm going to jump straight to Bruce's birthday, which I also found poetic. A lot of people saying, and I'm reading, like saying, oh, do you realize that it's also Bruce's birthday on technically the birth of the Joker Day? Yeah, I think that obviously that was very deliberately done. I dig it. And that's great. I think that's really, really cool. But first of all, I want to talk about the proto Batmobile. I feel like, honestly, if we get a season 5, I feel like we really need to get at least a season 5, because there's so many things that are going to play out, especially with the finale, with No Man's Land. The Joker's now here. We've now got this proto Batmobile. It's brilliant. Alfred being, oh man, I freaking love Sean Pertwee's Alfred. Oh man, I just love him. He's great. But he brought Bruce this awesome car. He was saying all the specs of it out like that, and instantly I was like, I know if we call this the proto Batmobile, there's gonna be some people out there who say, oh, this isn't a Batmobile, what are you on about, it's just like a sports car. Yes, I know what you mean, but it's been technically pimped out a little bit. It's bulletproof. Alfred obviously did that because he completely supports and is all knowing that Bruce is going out there as a vigilante, and will probably be using this car hopefully before the end of the season in a tense kind of thing with the Joker. Maybe you would have to think so, instead of just waiting till next season until we see the bulletproof car in action actually pinging off bullets. I thought the Batcat stuff was very sweet. I found it interesting how Selena was just like, I knew it was all an act, and technically it wasn't. The actual teenage angst bit of it all, going out and getting drunk and being a dick to Alfred, as we all know, I think Selena totally thought that was all just Bruce being a dick. But I guess maybe you could interpret it in her saying that it was all an act, maybe not literally an act, he was pretending, but you know, it was just a phase maybe. But yeah, I love that scene with them showing the birthday cake. I feel like what they're doing with Batcat this season is not too forced at all, and it's taken this long to develop into a bit more of their intimate, close friendship slash beginnings of a relationship almost, and I think that's really sweet. As I said, they're not forcing it in my face. It's being told in a way where I'm like, I want them to hug now or something like that, and then, do you know what I mean, get a bit closer, but also have the tendencies of the characteristics, like with Bruce leaning over that one time in the car in the previous episodes, and Selena being like, oh, okay. Now, as predicted in this episode as well, guys, I'm glad I got this one right, but I felt like it was kind of obvious. Penguin was not on board with Jerome's plan the whole time, even from the beginning of the van, where Jerome, you know, he saw firsthand the laughing gas, and he was just like, oh god. It couldn't be more obvious anyway, as I said beforehand, because if you thought about it logically, and we saw the promos, you see Penguin a bit worried. He doesn't want this city to be ruled by mad people. Like, sorry, he doesn't want to rule this city with a bunch of mad people in it. And even Jim used a line similar to that in this episode, saying, you know, what kind of city are you gonna rule, you know, if we don't sort this out. I also found it fascinating, and this is what I mean when I've said that Jerome is just as smart as Jeremiah. He saw when Penguin, obviously, it was like Scarecrow and Mad Hatter, this is way too crazy. And they were like, Jerome saw your betrayal coming. I loved all of that aspect to it. He went in the blimp. I'm just going to jump to the end because I want to really talk about the Jerome stuff and Jeremiah stuff a lot more. I loved the blimp stuff when he was steering it away. That was hilarious. I loved the zoom out and everything. That was all brilliant. So I would borderline think that was trying to be a bit too funny, but with Oswald, I felt like that was a very kind of Penguin comic booky ending to him trying to figure out how to freaking steer a blimp. Now, I've kind of waited to see where this storyline has been going, and I feel like I can almost say a little bit of a judgment now. Now, with Barbara, I do not really like this. I don't think it's bad necessarily to watch. At the same time, it is just a little bit. I just think it's way too out there. But at the same time, thank God there's more to this story than what's happening. And what I'm talking about is that ending with Tabitha and those guys, those League of Shadow members saying, yeah, we used to have the true Ra's al Ghul. And Tabitha was just like, but he's dead. And he's like, yeah, well, death is just an illusion. I was like, I knew it. Alexander Siddig, I knew was still going to be in it till the finale. But I was like, is he going to come back? Are they actually making Barbara the new Demon's Head? Because you can pass on the mantle after all. But I was like, really? What's going on there? If there is a lot more to this story and Ra's doesn't still want Barbara, then what is with the whole 400 years old painting with her, and Ra's? And I have to say, that looked like Barbara. But that didn't look like Ra's al Ghul that we had on the show, Alexander Siddig's Ra's. And some people were saying maybe it's a previous Ra's, could very well be. But Alexander Siddig's Ra's al Ghul, I believe, goes back to the War. And I think that was like the 12th century, the 11th century. So I don't know, that's really confusing. Why would he do all of this? Set up Barbara to think that she's going to, lead this new, like, 1,000+ God knows how long dynasty. Blah, 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 blah. If there was always some still under elaborate scheme to make Bruce the heir to the demon, it just doesn't make sense to me. Unless Barbara was just a means to the end, I'm not sure. I feel like I'm really speculating too much here to even talk about this. It almost sounds a bit silly. I think there has to be some relevance and importance to Barbara's character for her to be in that painting. Maybe at least, like, if she's not going to be the Demon's Head or anything like that, and she's kind of being maybe a little bit fooled, I kind of get why this is so important to her. She's, I kind of, in a writing way, kind of does make a little bit sense in terms of her character going left, right, and center. And now the writers have given her this, and especially that line saying, I always felt like, I can't remember the line exactly, but there was more importance to my life, blah, blah, blah. And now I guess that's the writer's way of saying to us that, oh, we're giving her jazz, she's found her calling kind of thing. And I guess that's an explanation for like why she's been so sporadic in the past, but I still don't necessarily dig it. But ultimately, I think, Ra's al Ghul himself is going to come back. I don't think she is going to be the Demon's Head. But I definitely do think there is some importance to her, and maybe there's a doppelgangery kind of thing way back into the past, in terms of why she's in that photo, because I don't think she is over 400 years old. I think maybe that's a doppelganger situation, but I'd love to know your theories on this in the comments below, because this is very complicated. Now, as for the Mad Hatter, Scarecrow, and Freeze and everything like that, we found out why they broke into a Wayne Enterprises place, and that was to get them to actually build more of the laughing gas, which is great. I even though those characters weren't really a main focus at all in this episode, I still loved them. I loved how they've been included in this storyline and being built up to this grand finale with Jerome and the creation of Jeremiah's Joker. Lucius Fox was brought in just yet again as a tech guy, and he figured out that if Jeremiah and Bruce wore these collars and got near to Jerome, it would disable his detonator, and he was 99 point something % sure that it would work. Understandably, Jeremiah was afraid. Now, with the way things have ended in this episode, and I'll get there, don't worry guys, I'll get there, it does make me think, yeah, Jeremiah is a dick, and he's definitely got that tendency of cruel and madness in him, but I definitely think he was kind of a normal guy, but very much more disturbed than your normal guy, which is why, he was drinking quite a bit at the end after all his brother did die, and stuff like that. But as for his genuine afraid behavior for wanting to go up and face Jerome on stage, I feel like he is just a bit of a creep, but he's also a normal guy. I just wanted to get across to you guys, yes, I think there was a lot more to him, but I don't think that would have necessarily ever manifested, or he wouldn't have been a criminal if it weren't for that laughing gas. Apart from that, I reckon he would have just lived a fairly successful life, normal life, and especially after what Bruce said to him after the whole stage stuff, you know, I think you should continue your work, and, you know, we'll fund you at Wayne Enterprises, blah, blah, blah. I reckon he would have been normal-ish. Now, obviously, that's all changed since he's the Joker, and that's all out the window now, and he is fully fledged Jerome 2.0, aka equals the Joker. And now, guys, I'm going to bypass the stage bit, because obviously I thought that was very cool. I've already talked about how Jeremiah and Bruce go on stage. I thought that was all awesome. But I want to talk about the bit when Jerome's on the roof. Now, it's not a hate to say I told you so moment, because there are a lot of people who are like, Jerome's not going to die, it's Clayface, oh, it's freaking, denial. He's dead. But the way he died was very interesting. There's a couple of things I didn't see. There's things like, I didn't know if he was going to jump off himself. I didn't know if Jim was going to at least shoot him once more, which made him fall. But he actually clinged on for a little bit, which I found interesting as well. And I honestly was like, in that moment, is Jim actually going to try and help him? And is Jerome actually wanting to be, you know, I was like, this will kind of ruin a little bit of his character, since if there was still a little bit of innocent Jerome in him, and it's like, oh, please, Mr. Gordon, help me up, you know, I'm sorry of all the trouble I've caused, but no, he was only joking. And I have to admit, it was very sweet of Gordon to just be like, you know what, screw it, like, I wanted to kill this creep, but he lent out his hand and tried to save him. He was like, good old Gordon, always trying to play by the rules, but that's why I'll outlive you. And then we got the whole speech of how Jerome is an idea. And I know people were like saying, oh, but that's the Suicide Squad, Jared Leto, like thing. That line is good. Like the Joker is also like is an idea and a philosophy in terms of the mad and the anarchy and the burn it all down thing. You know, that's the line we got at the end as well. I definitely get why writers of, you know, Suicide Squad and in this TV show wanted to use that, because it very is so much still what he's about. Of course, I love all the lines between Jim and Jerome then, but I love the line most of all where he says, you'll be seeing me soon, and then like he falls to his death, but laughing, the most spectacular laugh, which I knew was going to happen, just from the promos and everything. Like, I knew that laugh we heard in the White Band trailer was of him falling to his death. I thought that was a really cool ending, and I know not all people are going to agree with me, because some people are just like completely F this show now since Jerome is gone. And it's not only that as well, as I said, like, you cannot like it. I think that's fine, because I would prefer Jerome to be the Joker. But do you see me being like, f this show, f that, f this, f that? No. What I will say before I talk about the actual Jeremiah Joker creation scene, and I guess that will wrap up the review side of things, is that I completely understand why people are upset. I completely get it. I just think there's different, I guess, standpoints of like how far are you willing to go and be upset. It's like, but I feel like we're all upset on the same level. 4 seasons of character development of Jerome. They still could have made him the Joker without going to the twin storyline, I guess. And then there's the whole theory of this is what I mean. They could have still made Jerome the Joker. Why did they do the twin storyline? Unless, you know, in theory, the writers and the showrunners are sticking to their guns about what they said all these years ago, or all this whole time, in the sense of that they said Jerome won't ever be the Joker. And then they're like, oh, but still, Cameron Monaghan's the Joker now. So I think people are really like angry in that sense, saying that they think the writers are just doing it because they said that, or the showrunners are just doing it, you know, creating another Joker, another character that is not obviously talking about the actor being the Joker, when they could have made a lot of everyone 100% happy if it was just Jerome. So that I will admit, that is still a question I'm baffled by. Is it the stubbornness of the showrunners and they just want to do it this way, or did they actually think, you know, oh wait, what if we came up with this really other cool way of doing it? I think it's a mixture of both, because you would have to think they must have heard fans say like, you know, we want Jerome to be the Joker, but this whole time, since they definitely did have different crossroads of where they thought they might be going, I think they, you know, definitely did want to get rid of Jerome, but then they've pulled their finger out and they're like, okay, we're still going to make Cameron the Joker, but because of what they said in the past, I do feel like they definitely wanted to create this new way of doing it, which still makes Cameron the Joker, but yeah, not Jerome, just his twin, which I completely understand why it frustrates people, but I do have to ask, don't go as far as quitting the show. Don't go as far as saying F this, you know, F Gotham, F the writers, tweeting at them. It's really disrespectful, and I completely understand you're really caring over a character. So am I. I would have preferred that. But I'm willing to see how Jeremiah does. I still appreciate the story that is the writing, and I would have preferred it a different way, but the way it turned out in this episode, I thought it was cool. I really did. I thought, okay, it's not what I would have wanted, but fair enough, well done. I don't know, guys. I guess that's just my message to all the haters out there who are really just going above and beyond to burn it all down. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I've tried reaching you, and that's as far as I guess I'm going to get. But I'm still kind of happy because of that final scene where Jeremiah got a present and he thought it was from Wayne Tech, and that made sense as well, because it's like maybe he thought Bruce was sending him a gift or something. I don't know. It was very fitting. I love the wrapping and everything, and he's like, what is this? And he opened it, and it was like a jack-in-the-box, and it sprayed out the laughing gas. Now, this is the theory that everyone had. Maybe Jeremiah might get turned into the Joker by the laughing gas, but people were like, how will that work? Because he might die, because it kills people, literally kills you to death. But in that dialogue, we heard Jerome say that this particular version I had especially made for you. I think, obviously, the modification is obviously not to kill Jeremiah, but just maintain the effects of the madness at the drug's peak, if that makes sense. So you stay in that permanent state of mind change, of lunacy and madness. But maybe there are some slightly more modifications that are very comic book logic-y, that kind of give some elements of Jerome, but I think that's a bit too far-fetched. But what I think does keep the elements of Jerome is that when Jerome said the lines of, how they are the same DNA, they share the same blood, and, he has the same capabilities of Mad. Now, first of all, I want to say that this scene I thought was really, really cool. Despite all feelings aside of what we wished we could have been, blah, 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 I still really appreciate this story for what it is. The poeticness of how Jerome is still going to live on through Jeremiah. And I'll get to what I mean by that in a minute. And I feel like fans shouldn't be as angry as what they are as losing Jerome, because for all intents and purposes, Jeremiah is going to be Jerome 2.0, which really equals the Joker, and I'll explain that in a second. But just the way that this is, and exactly what Cameron said before this episode aired a while ago, saying how it is original to the comics, but it's also obviously adding new elements onto it. So yes, original in the terms of how it mirrors that Killing Joke picture I have in the background with the freaking lights, reflected in it. I do apologize for that, by the way. And we obviously got that. It was absolutely amazing. But just the performance from Cameron as well, absolutely mind-melting. It was fantastic. This really did hit me very hard in the feels of absolute, even though I want some things done a certain way, it still tickles my spot in terms of just saying how that really made me fanboy out in a Joker way. I was just freaking doing my own crazy, I just couldn't get over how good the performance was. Honestly, I loved so much, and this I feel like proves more to my point of how I feel like Jeremiah is kind of a little bit more, would have lived a normal life with a bit of darkness in him still, but still ultimately not committing crime or being the Joker if it weren't for this moment. Because he was trying so hard. The struggle that Cameron gave off for Jeremiah to hold those laughs in was so Killing Joke. In that moment, I just felt like it was like an addition to the Killing Joke. And it's kind of what Cameron said in its own right. It's just this new modified version. Obviously it's like a new take and a new rendition that makes it somewhat original but somewhat blah blah blah, and when he was just trying to just hide it, and that really, you just saw how he was breaking, that Joker was you lost Jeremiah more and more and more, and what came out was a monster inside, and the poor guy was trying to hide it in, but the madness and the lunacy was just coming through to the point where that guy's gone, and he's evolved like a freaking Pokemon, is the only analogy I can think of right now. Still Jeremiah, but that Jeremiah's gone, but now we've got a dark Jeremiah. Oh god, it was so good. Now, what I meant by earlier is how maybe fans could look at it this way: the really toxic fans, or maybe the ones who are slightly between here and there, not knowing if they should hate the show or love the show, or just be content and see what might happen. Guess I'm sending this message to anyone and everyone. I love the quote where Jerome was just see, my days were numbered, but you can continue on from me. Be my ultimate revenge. I honestly, what he means by that, and what he said to Gordon was you'll be seeing me soon, is they are of the same DNA. Jerome had a special version of this laughing gas, which doesn't only kill, but I feel like there may be some other special properties in the terms of his twin. I honestly feel like he they're obviously going to act the same because Jerome was obviously acting like the Joker the past 4 seasons. Who is Jeremiah now going to be? The Joker. So they're obviously going to be kind of one and the same. I think the mannerisms will be slightly different because they are different human beings. However, I think Jerome, he is going to be Jerome 2.0, which is why fans should still kind of be happy. Yes, you've lost. I get what you mean, but you don't get it, Boba. Jerome still died. Yes, I know what you mean, but I'm trying to explain to you how I feel like Jerome knew that Jeremiah was essentially going to become him. He literally is... He is the ultimate version of Jerome now, and the ultimate version of Jerome only ever was ever going to be the Joker, and he will live on through Jeremiah, and that's what I kind of get with the whole inspiration, quote unquote, story arc. And that's what David Mizzou said, but, you know, Cameron Monaghan said not necessarily inspiration, but more of a birth. So take that as you will. I've been talking so long enough about that already as it is. I think it's great. I think Jerome is still going to very much so be here on the show through Jeremiah. I think fans should at least give this a bit more of a chance. And you know what, guys? I've actually decided this on the spot because this is quite a unique episode and there is quite a lot to talk about, and this video is probably already long enough as it is, and I know some people love that. I would say 3/4 of people love it, and 1/4 of people really don't dig these long videos, each to their own. This is BobaTalks channel after all. I do talk a lot. I know I could maybe be a little bit more organized, but this is just a message to you guys out there. I understand these videos are a bit long, but I really do love going into depth with things. Some people might not like that. Some people might unsubscribe for that, but some people do love it. I've decided to not do the Q&A in this video, but I'll make a whole separate Q&A based off episode 18, just so not only can I answer more people's questions, because a lot of people get upset about that as it is, but yeah, I feel like with this stuff, I want to talk about it a lot more, maybe reiterate a few points I've already made, but also answer people's specific questions, which is why I often included the Q&A in the reviews, because I answer questions that I might not have thought to even mention in my review myself. So that's the cool thing about that. So I've decided that this weekend I'll be doing another additional bonus video for Gotham, a whole Q&A dedicated to, I would just maybe call it like the birth of the Joker. So if you want to submit more questions to that, what you have to do is go over to the community section of my YouTube channel and ask me any questions that you are dying for me to answer and have my perspective on in the Birth of the Joker Q&A video. I think that'd be pretty cool. I hope you guys understand that. Well done, Gotham. In my books, I don't understand every decision you've made in terms of what I've already spoke about, you know, with the Jerome, the Joker, was it stubbornness, was it not, blah, blah, blah. But I still respect what you've done regardless. Cameron Monaghan, your portrayal was absolutely freaking incredible. I hope everyone, and this is a true message, and I hope everyone knows this on my channel, and you subscribe to me for this very reason. You should know that I am seriously honest. I do not put my freaking nose up the arse of any show. I would say if it's crap. For example, I'm a huge fan of The Flash, but I wholeheartedly say that I think this season is really bad compared to what it should be. So you guys should know if I'm just in denial myself or whatnot with this whole Joker thing, but no. I think what you've done, Gotham, is a great new take on the Joker and his origin story. There's nothing wrong with new takes. I feel like too many people pretend that they're the judge, jury, and executioner of the freaking Joker themselves, but are also contradicting because they love The Dark Knight, and that was a new take on the Joker. No chemical bath there, just makeup. So why are people getting mad at this? This is a whole new take. I get the whole Jerome stuff, but, you know, the people saying, oh, this is not how the Joker becomes the Joker, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into that again, but ultimately, I liked it. I'm not 100%, I don't agree with 100% of things, much like, analogy-wise, The Last Jedi. I love that film, but there's so much I disagree with on it. I respect what you've done, Gotham, and I'm really happy with it, to be honest, and I cannot wait for Jeremiah's Joker to come actually in the show, maybe in a couple of episodes' time, where we see him in full action. It's going to be brilliant. So to all you fans who are kind of sharing the same opinion as me, you know what I'm on about, and we've got a ride ahead of us. And to everyone who is spitting on the show, spitting on the cast and crew and the show itself, and who are probably damaging the chances of it getting renewed, then I guess goodbye to you, because I guess you don't want to be here yourself. and I guess a lot of people don't want you here as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I do talk forever about things, but I love talking forever about things. It's your choice to watch 10 minutes or 15 minutes or probably 20 minutes of it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate your support on this channel. It is amazing. Let me know all your thoughts about this episode in the comment section down below. If you like this video, guys, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It only takes 2 seconds of your time. If you haven't done so already in this video, maybe you enjoyed it up until this point. If you did, hit it. If you're new to this channel and you actually got this far as well then welcome, and maybe subscribe for more Gotham videos just like this, but be sure to check out all my other videos as well. Also, to the special people who got this far in the video, if you did, burn it all down in the comment section down below. I want to give a shout out to each and every one of my patrons. Honestly, you guys are making an incredible difference with me being able to make more videos on this channel, so thank you so much to each and every one of you. If you yourself who's watching this video and who isn't a patron, maybe is considering it and becoming one, check my link at the top of my description, and be sure to check out some of the tiers on my Patreon page and some of the rewards that come with them. Maybe you'll pledge to one of them like these guys did, and they enjoyed them, so maybe you will yourself. But thank you regardless. If you do check it out, I really appreciate your support, regardless if you do decide to pledge or if you don't. If you want to stay a little bit more up to date with me personally, of course I do have social media. Instagram and Twitter are my most active, so the links are popping up there on the screen. Apart from that, guys, I do have Discord. Join the Discord server. Link to the server is in the description as well. It's completely free. It's just like an app where we talk over voice or text or whatever have you. Join that because we're talking about Gotham each and every day there and other shows. Apart from that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Be sure to submit your questions on the community section of my YouTube channel. But other than that, guys, I think I am out. Goodbye.